It is the last day, part 3 of Hormone Week. This is one of my favorite subjects. I love it. I love it so much because one, the solution is actually really simple. And in fact, it is so simple that when I give it to women that are going through this hormone imbalance, they are like, are you sure it's going to work? Like, I have never heard about a workout plan like this. And yes, it works, and it has worked. This is how Carol, who you might have seen her pictures on Facebook, started her journey. This is how Irene started her journey. I should say Carol lost over 50 pounds now. She's sporting her bikinis. And how Irene started, and how a whole bunch of my other clients that I have showcased in here has started, because it is really the most common hormone imbalance. And this hormone imbalance actually increases or becomes more possible during menopause, and then it enhances in postmenopause. So I'm going to start with a simple question, and I put these questions inside of the description so that you can see them and you can ask yourself these whenever you want. Because if you don't have these symptoms now, hold on tight and memorize this information and know that it's here for you whenever you need, because at one point in time, we all go through something like this. The first question is, have you ever experienced sudden weight gain, especially around the belly? Have you ever experienced sudden weight gain, especially around the belly? Next, do your eyes pop wide open at 1 a.m. or in the middle of the night? All of a sudden, it's like, bang, your eyes pop open. Are you in dire need of a nap around 3 p.m. or in the afternoon? You really need a nap. But then as the nighttime comes, you become wide awake. You're wide awake around 11. Your eyes start to be more awake. It's harder for you to get to sleep. Your mind is racing with thoughts. Have you recently gone through a stressful experience? So have you gone through a stressful experience? And if you're in menopause, or remember back to when you were going through menopause, if you're post-menopause, did you have severe hot flashes? And we're talking about relentless hot flashes. So no matter what you tried to do, no matter how you tried to change things, you still had severe hot flashes. If you answered yes to most of these questions, then congratulations, because you probably have gone through this hormone imbalance. We are talking about high cortisol levels, your stress hormone, high cortisol, or an imbalance in the natural rhythm of cortisol that our bodies go through. There's going to be some sort of imbalance inside of that process. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about why this happens, but what's the point of the why if you don't have how to fix it? So we're specifically today going to talk about how to fix it with a workout in today's freebie at aliciajoneshealthyliving.com/stress belly. There is also a nutrition plan that specifically targets stress belly, but I wanted to keep it focused on the exercise strategy because, like I said, it is really simple to make these shifts. And I actually think that if you're going through stress belly or high cortisol or an imbalance in cortisol, the exercise plan might be difficult for you because it involves taking things down a notch, relaxing a bit more, and that might be hard for you, especially if you've been in survival mode for a while. So let's go through that. So first, why does this happen, and why does it happen specifically during menopause and postmenopause? Well, yes, so cortisol levels, they rise higher. This stress hormone, it rises higher as we age, but specifically it starts to become either imbalanced or rise even more during menopause. That is the time frame that it is most imbalanced. And this is because as your estrogen levels decline, your body, our bodies are just so amazing. They'll find other ways to get what they need, right? Like we were talking about the other day, they'll find a way other pathways and other routes in order to get what you need. And what your body is craving is estrogen and progesterone because those levels are declining. First, the weight gain, you'll increase weight because yes, fat produces estrogen. So you're trying to get more estrogen in the body. The next big thing is your adrenal glands. Your adrenal glands that produce cortisol, they produce other hormones as well, but I'm going to talk about cortisol today. We're going to keep it really tight to the topic. So your adrenal glands, they produce cortisol. And what happens is during menopause, when your estrogen is low, they all and your progesterone is low, they also start to produce progesterone, and they produce a hormone that will produce estrogen. So it's producing the precursor to estrogen. So not only do your adrenal glands have to work in order to produce these adrenal hormones like your cortisol, your high stress, but now on top of it, they're doing the work of some progesterone and the precursor to estrogen, and that's a lot of work, isn't it? Which means that your cortisol levels, they're going to rise or they're going to become imbalanced. When I say imbalanced, here's what I mean. Usually when the hormone levels are steady, or the natural rhythm of your cortisol, what happens is you should wake up feeling energized, bright-eyed, and ready to take on the day, because that's when cortisol is at its highest. And then as the day progresses, your cortisol levels slowly go down. You should still have some energy in the afternoon, but they are going down. So you might still feel a bit tired, but then by nightfall, what happens is your cortisol levels are at its lowest. And so at that time, melatonin kicks in, you want to go to sleep, and you stay asleep. That's what should be happening. But when this rhythm is off, when your cortisol rhythm is off, what happens is you end up maybe waking up feeling exhausted or very tired. You need a few cups of coffee to get going. So your cortisol level isn't at its highest. It might be in the middle, or it might be very low, depending on where or how long you've been in survival mode or you've felt stress. So it all depends. Then as the day goes on, it's still declining. So by the late afternoon, you're going to feel really exhausted, like as if it was bedtime. And then as the day goes on, it actually starts to rise when it should be falling at nighttime or in the middle of the night, which makes sense if you have a second wind that's coming around 10 or 11, or you wake up in the middle of the night. All of a sudden your mind is racing, you're thinking, and you can't stop it, right? These cortisol levels are out of whack. So you've got the high cortisol and you've got the rhythm that might be off. And then on top of it, you add the final one. And I know this sounds so dry, but I promise we are going to get to the solution. So the final part that comes into effect is life, right? Either you have gone through a lot in life, or you are going through it, or both, right? I mean, in the past, you've juggled kids, you've juggled work, you've juggled all family events and everything that you're trying to do there, all of it at the same time. You might still be juggling all of that. And that, while it might be a good stress, it's still high stress. And there are moments when you're really feeling pulled in every direction. And then on top of it, you might be dealing with a sick family member, or you might have dealt with a sick family member that you were taking care of, or somebody that has passed in your family, or a loved one. So you add all of that together, and that on top of the higher cortisol levels, or the already maybe a small imbalance occurring in your cortisol levels, and everything is thrown off track. One, you increase belly fat, and usually suddenly, because cortisol, it actually shifts fat into visceral fat, fat that is around the organs in the belly, because that's an easy source of energy. When we were in our fight and flight states, when we had to run away from tigers and bears, we needed energy quickly, and so cortisol would place that energy around the tummy. So your belly fat increases. That increases your risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, you've got vasoconstriction, all these horrible things, right? So we've got to switch the way that you work out to start to create calm and strong, to release the tension in the body, to relax the body, to feel joy, and at the same time, it starts to release the belly fat and create optimal health. So here is how you do that. The first step, when I tell people, they're like, oh my gosh, are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, you are going to swap out your cardio, You're going to swap out all of that vigorous, high intensity cardio that taxes your cortisol systems for belly breathing. So you're going to add belly breathing in, try and add it in for at least 10 minutes a day. That belly breathing, it asks your parasympathetic system to work. That is your relaxation system. It releases tension in your body, in your muscles, in your blood vessels. You start to relax more and you start to melt away the belly fat. So the first one is to do belly breathing. The second one is to add in a resistance training workout 2 times a week. Add in a resistance training workout 2 times a week, and the catch is it has to have stretching in between each exercise. Again, it's because you don't want your cortisol levels to rise. What you want to do with the resistance training is cortisol can break down protein, and muscle is protein. You want to make sure that you have the muscle that your cortisol levels are breaking down, and at the same time, you also want to make sure that you are increasing hormones that suppress cortisol. And you do that through the resistance training. Then on top of it, the stretching in between, it keeps the next part, which is really important, into check. And that is, it keeps your heart rate low, very low and slow. You don't want a high heart rate because that enhances cortisol. So keep that heart rate low and slow in order to start to balance out your stress hormone and your cortisol levels and create calm and strong. And then on top of it, you want to make sure that your workout is no longer than 45 minutes. Keep your workout under 45 minutes. Here's why. When you have that really good state of cortisol that works in its natural cyclical system, then when you do a workout, your cortisol levels rise. After 45 minutes, your cortisol levels rise, which works in your benefit because once the exercise is done, it drops way below where it was before. So you're reducing your stress. The thing is that when your stress system, your high cortisol is already taxed, or you've got an imbalance in the rhythm of your cortisol, then what happens is you're taxing a system that is already exhausted and depleted. So you need to keep the workout under 45 minutes in order to balance cortisol again, get it back to its high energy mornings and relaxation and deep sleep at night. That's what you're looking for. So I have created a workout plan that you can do that puts all of these strategies into play. You've got your belly breathing and ways to help you do the belly breathing. It's got the heart rate zone that you need to stay in and the exact workout. And I actually recommend that for the resistance training workout during the stretches, if you find it really hard to do belly breathing at first, that you do the belly breathing with the stretches that are in between each workout. Keep your workout under 45 minutes and it's all done for you. Go to aliciajoneshealthyliving.com/stressbelly. That's aliciajoneshealthyliving.com/stressbelly. And if you have questions, because you may have questions after this, or if it's not stress that you think is your issue, it's not your high cortisol levels, and it's not the estrogen that we went through over the last 2 days, then reach out to me and book a call. There is a solution for you. You are not doing this alone. You can book a free strategy session. Together, we will go through exactly what your goals are, what your symptoms are, and what you hope to achieve. We will figure out a game plan for you. And if you want to continue, you can continue with me to do that, or you can do it on your own, whatever feels best for you. To get your free strategy call, go to aliciajoneshealthyliving.com/strategy. So again, you've got your freebie at aliciajoneshealthyliving.com/stressbelly. And if you need a solution, you're not alone. Don't do this alone. Let's do it together. Go to aliciajoneshealthyliving.com/strategy. Okay, that is the end of this week's hormone week. I had a blast. I hope you did too. And I'll see you really soon. Bye.